Here's one towards the goal. That's going to be gloved by Travis Ridgen. Well, this is more like it.
This is Slangin The Bizkit. Here's Travis Ridgen and Dave Wheeler.
Ladies and gentlemen, lads and ladies, coffee's hot, coffee strong as it always is. New episode of Slangin The Bizkit. I am your host and founder, number 33 for the Watertown Wolves in upstate New York, Travis Ridgen. I am joined by my co-host, Dave Wheeler. He's damn good looking, and he's hosted the number one morning radio show in the city of Winnipeg for over 20 years. How are you over in the city of Winnipeg, my friend?
Things are good. Morgan Wallen's in town tonight, so I can hear the thumping all the way at Polo Park from Canada Life Centre downtown, which I'm actually going to be checking out this week. Jets are playing an exhibition game. I don't even know who they're playing. It's exhibition. But I'm going to be checking out a game, and they did a whole bunch of renos, like $1 million renovations at Canada Life Centre, so I'm hoping to have some B-roll footage for you next week.
Ooh, I wonder if it'd be better. A full house, the Watertown Arena, the Watertown Municipality Arena, or Canada Life Centre in Winnipeg.
As far as what?
Just the atmosphere, the electricity. Like when the arena was packed last year, when my former employer and myself came into Watertown, it was electric. The light show, the blow up, like inflatable wolf. Oh, it was crazy. It was awesome. But then compared to the Jets, where maybe it's not so full anymore, I'm gonna come down for a game to Watertown, see the Wolves play the Danbury Hat-Tricks opening night, October 13th.
Well, listen, there is an argument to be said, and if you want to get into this, I'm more than happy to, because I've been in my fair share of barns over my years and at varying degrees of capacity. And I'll be honest with you, anything from 1,500 capacity and lower, when that place is full and it's standing room only, you will get much better energy in a joint like that than you will playing in front of a half-full, scattered, any rink that's 15,000 plus, and that includes Madison Square Garden, for any sport. When it's full and everyone's into it, man, it feels great. Could you imagine playing at Mullet Arena when it's half full in the National Hockey League? No thanks. There are teams that have actually said, and keep in mind, this was back in the American League days, but when I was working with the Manitoba Moose, there were players that would say, we look forward to playing in Manitoba because there's actually fans here, and it fires us up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, except for Ilya Brzgala, who never looked forward to coming to Winnipeg.
Yeah, no. No, Winnipeg was and always is. I'll never forget it. I was listening to a broadcast. It was a Toronto Marlies broadcast against the Manitoba Moose, and the game was out of reach. It was in the third period. At this point, they're just kind of shooting the breeze and having chats during plays. And one of them goes, "Well, the Manitoba Moose have a night off in between playing the Marlies here again. So hey, big night out on the town for the Manitoba boys. I'm sure they'll find," like making it sound like it was fucking Hickville. Pardon me for my language, but making it sound like
you
it was
swore.
Yeah,
that's 60 episodes. You did it.
It got me fired up. But making it sound like it's this hick town and Toronto's the center of the universe. That's the only place you can have a good time. Lots of teams from all the way from south down in the American League looked forward to coming into Winnipeg. Number one, because the fans were the best in the American Hockey League, and it was right downtown, so there was always something to do after.
Speaking of something to do, how about that mustache, that muzzy you got on that could feed a family of four? If you're on the video version, Dave's lip lettuce is outrageous this week.
You know what? I was a late bloomer when it came to the rest of the facial hair, but the mustache came in strong ever since I was like 13. So I've always it's like Chewbacca. I always keep it handy.
You ever seen the montage of Heck with Kurt Cobain?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the clips in there when he's shaving his mustache and Courtney comes in with the video camera and he's like, "Mustache rides. Who wants your mustache ride?"
Classic line from Super Troopers. Yeah, man. It's funny. I don't know how much music you want to talk, but it. After Kurt's passing, we saw a lot of stuff come out from behind the scenes, and dude was actually funnier than a lot of people give him credit for.
He was funny as shit. Like that interview, I can't remember if it was downtown Toronto or it might have been in down like somewhere on the water by Seattle. But just like some of the one-liners and the just the witty remarks, or even like the opening line for Live Unplugged, MTV Unplugged. "Hello, good evening. This song is from our first album. Most people don't own it." Like, who says that?
Yeah. There was actually I remember when Silverchair, a 90s grunge band from Dananda in Australia, their first album was called Frog Stomp, and the way they were promoting it in the record stores, there was a sticker on it saying, "Outsold Nirvana's first album." Like, I outsold Nirvana's first album. Nobody has Bleach. Nobody knew about Bleach.
It was an unreal album, though. It's the best-selling album of all time for Sub Pop Records was Bleach.
Yep, there's still a Sub Pop Records in the Seattle airport that I walked through once upon a time. Yeah,
really interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of interesting things, if you listened to the show last week, you'd know. Well, first off, you were a day one listener to the show because it only lasted 24 hours before it had to be removed. Dave, do you want to explain this?
It's on Patreon. Listen, there's things that happen behind the scenes that are much higher above our pay grades when it comes to this kind of stuff. So believe me when I tell you, it was up. If you got a chance to see it, it was a good episode, and you can still catch it because it had to be moved over to Patreon behind a paywall. So sign up now if you haven't seen it. I mean, there's nothing earth-shattering there. It was just a good episode, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, if you sign up for the Patreon too, so you get access to 2 exclusive episodes that Dave and I have shot for the podcast, plus last week's episode, which did about 3,000 views in the first day. I don't think anything was earth-shattering, just a lot of people that got really butthurt very easily. And
for all you people down in the comments right now going, I know what it was. Really, what was it? It was those Andrew Tate comments. I swear to you, it was they made that they had to move them because of those Andrew. It was not because of the Andrew Tate comments, for the record.
No. Actually, I have some changed opinions on Andrew Tate for later, which we'll get into. I'm sure some of the blue pill lovers out there will love to hear that. But the episode came down. If you listen to it, great. If not, we are going to be back this week and every other week, as we are every single Sunday. So we look forward to not disappointing you with an episode being taken down anytime soon. And we thank my former employer for the challenge of coming up with new stuff to talk about in the podcast.
Moving on, what do we got today?
Well, we have lots of Fed stuff to talk about. First off, I wanted to redo our jersey talks from last week. Now, the Binghamton Black Bears got new jerseys. The Baton Rouge Zydecko, we still think they should be called the Red Sticks, but we'll digress. And then the Blue Ridge Bobcats, they all have new jerseys. Mr. Wheeler, you are the king of hot takes in the Fed Zeno. What do you think of all the jerseys? Let's start with the Binghamton jerseys. So they have new home and away jerseys, just in black and white. They're just run of the mill, same thing they've had the last couple of years. But the third jersey has the Boston Bruins Pooh Bear from the early 2000s. The bear does not look like it's taking a dump like the Boston version. It looks actually pretty intense. It's got some scratches on the jersey. Dave, what do you think? It's in solid green too, by the way.
Yeah, you know what? I like this color scheme. This is one of those ones that if you were a non-hockey fan and you saw this jersey, you just go, that's a good-looking classic, what a hockey jersey is supposed to look like. I like the logo. It's classy. It's clean. It's crisp. No problems with the colors. Yep, thumbs up. I like it.
Yeah, it's not like the Edmonton Oilers Heritage Classic. That thing is awful.
Well, listen, the Jets just unveiled their alternate jerseys for the year, and it's a Royal Canadian Air Force throwback. And they're okay, but I mean, there was nothing special about it. To me, it just looked like, they might as well paint it in green and put a money logo on it because that's really what they're looking for. But I understand they're under mandate from league, and they have to have a certain amount of alternate jerseys. I get it, but it was okay. It was a nice honoring to the Royal Canadian Air Force, but it just wasn't anything that jumped out at me as special. Like, ooh.
I know we talked about like the original Jets and like the Coyotes own the rights to like the original Jets logos and colors, but like I know that they've tinkered around with like the original Jets colors with like a new logo or the new colors with the old logo, but like just like the old like 90 through 96 Jets logos and jerseys, that would be nice if they brought those back, but I don't think they can.
There's actually one that's floating around the ether of the internet, but when the WA, probably about 15 years ago, when the WA, no longer than that, but 20 years ago, when the WHA was rumored to wanting to make a comeback in North America, they had drafted up a logo for Winnipeg, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look a whole lot different than the bottom portion of the jersey for the Baton Rouge Zydecko. Am I saying it right? Is it Zydecko? Zydecko.
They're still the Red Sticks.
Yeah, right. But it had a really nice round logo. It had the Esplanade Riel, which is our suspension bridge here in Winnipeg. And it was just a really nice, classy kind of look. I liked it. It was never revisited, unfortunately, but I think that one was a nice blend of the old logo and something new to appease the fans.
Yeah, speaking of which, what do you think of those Baton Rouge jerseys?
Yeah, I don't mind the jersey, or the logo. Don't mind the color scheme. Don't really like the stuff down along the bottom. Just keep it nice, simple band along the back.
It literally looks like the mid-2000s LA Kings third jersey, where they had like the sword and the shield right in the stomach, and they had the sword and shield again in the crest, but with red and blue. I don't mind the third jersey, but I think they should have been the Red Sticks.
Yeah, I don't like they did one with the musical notes down along the bottom too. That's reminiscent of mid-90s St. Louis Blues when they had the musical scale notes coming up around the side and the trumpet player. Yeah, it's hockey. Music ain't going to hurt me.
Also, Baton Rouge pulling off an unreal trade today. They acquired Justin Schmidt, nail gun tough guy, vet, one of the most all-time game played, I believe, to my knowledge, from Elmira to Baton Rouge. So Baton Rouge plays Mississippi quite a bit. We're going to see a lot of Joe Pace and Justin Schmidt fights this season, because that's pretty much the only guy that Joe Pace fights is Justin Schmidt.
Well, Buy your tickets. Make sure you know when they're in town. One thing I will say, what I do like about the Baton Rouge Zydecko unis is the fleur de lis, le fleur du lis. Je m'en souviens. In the I wish they would have used more of the fleur de lis in the logo. Even putting it up on the shoulders instead of their logo again. I think that would have been a good spot for it.
Speaking of good spots and on the shoulders, let's talk about our new coach in Watertown. We talked about this last week, but because the episode had to be removed.
Hang on, we didn't talk about the Blue Ridge one.
Oh, yes, let's talk about Blue Ridge. What do you think of their jerseys, Dave?
Don't like it.
Okay, on to our coach.
Yeah.
Not much to talk about. So our coach in Watertown is Mr. Brian Verbeek, and I talked about him last week, if you heard, before the episode was removed. But this dude is jacked. All right, and Dave and I talked about this over the summer. Okay, if you have two coaches, they're the exact same, and one guy's maybe 30 to 40 pounds overweight, and one guy's ripped, jacked, and in shape, neither say a single word to me. I want to play for the jack guy more than the guy who's overweight because it just commands my respect. And the first thing I noticed about Coach Verbeek when he came in the locker room was just how big his arms are. Like, he's got like guns the size of my head. And now I asked him this week at practice, I said, Coach, how much do you bench? Now he said his max all time, 400 pounds on the bench. This guy's not a linebacker. He's a former National Leaguer and our head coach in Watertown, by the way. Not playing for the Watertown Red Blacks, which is the football team in town, but for the Watertown Wolves, by the way.
Okay.
And so I asked him, I said, Coach, what are you doing right now? And he says, well, I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I only throw up about 185 for about 25 reps. And for those keeping track at home, that's the bar, 45, and a 25, and just hammering it out. 25 reps, easy. Coach is doing 4 sets of those.
You know what? I'm going with the fat coach only because he's going to know where the better restaurants are after the game. Just saying.
All right. You're allowed to think that. I want to play for Coach Verbeek. I'll tell you that much right now.
Well,
the restaurant recommendations are nice.
You are playing for Coach Verbeek, so congratulations. You manifested it.
Yeah, actually, I guess we did over the summer when we talked about that.
Has he run a practice yet?
Yes, he's intense. He takes fitness seriously. We got fitness testing coming up on Monday. I know he's found the only hill in town, and he said we're going to run up at 400 meters, up and down, and he's going to put us through the gauntlet. We're going to do fitness testing. We're going to be doing bench press for 185. He wants to see how many reps you can do, see if anybody does more than 25. As far as the practices goes, we've been doing a lot of skill stuff, a lot of skill skates, a lot of battle stuff, and pushing the nets at the end of practice. Mountains with the nets, just pushing the nets, suicides on the line. It's crazy, man. This guy takes conditioning seriously. I'll tell you this.
I want to ask you, go ahead with your story, and then I have a very pertinent question to ask you regarding this, because I think this is a good one. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we've done more conditioning skating as a group for these skill skates, myself included, this week in Watertown than I have the past 3 years playing pro for multiple teams.
Okay, so I asked this. There was a handwritten letter that was circulating years ago. I think it was from somebody to Toe Blake or Toe Blake to somebody, but it was basically going over like, hey, here's what we expect at least training camp this year. Keep in mind, this is back 50 plus years ago, and it was, guys are going to need to do at least 20 push-ups and 50 sit-ups for training camp. Like they actually treated training camp like it was, now's the time for you to come back. We're going to get in shape over the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to start preseason and then the season. And now it's like, you better show up to training camp in shape because we're testing you to make sure that you've been going through the motions in the offseason. And I find that fascinating, and it leads into my question of, when it comes to preseason in your league, in the Fedzino, Mark Stone got lit up a little bit in a preseason game last week with the LA Kings, and he was not happy about it. It was a guy who was trying to make a name for himself, 27-year-old journeyman, had a cup of coffee with the Flyers, but Stone got caught kind of sleeping a little bit in his own end, the puck within his zone, and he got knocked over. Of course, a melee ensues, and he had some choice words after the game saying, well, I'm never going to play against that guy again, so we'll leave it at that. But, in this day and age, if you're expected to show up for training camp and you're expected to go out there and play, and, how is your league with this whole training camp and preseason is, just for kind of getting back into it, or is it like you're ready to go, you're fighting for a job?
I think the beauty of the Fed is because, guys are ranging from making 125 a week to 175 to 225 a week, and everybody's scratching and clawing for the extra 25, 50, $10, whatever it is. There's no nights off. So when we play the Elmira River Sharks, which, by the way, there still are no River Sharks in Elmira, for the record, when we do play them on October 10th, I don't give a shit about the River Sharks. I want to come in there. I want to put on a good performance, impress my new coach, Coach Verbeek, my general manager, to make him look smart for bringing me in here. I want to win for my team. I don't give a shit about the Elmira River Sharks. I don't care about the Danbury Hat-Tricks when they come in here on opening weekend. We're all coming to win. We all want our 125 week. We want to make 150 week, 175. You respect the guys you got to respect. But as far as the rest goes, like, I don't care if you like me. I don't give a damn. I'm coming in here to make saves, to do what I'm going to do best, to help my team win, because I don't give a shit about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, good. It's good to know, because it sounds like there is a different protocol and criteria when it comes to preseason in the National Hockey League. You leave the vets alone. And I can understand Mark Stone. He's a vet. He's got a couple back surgeries on his resume. So, but same time, keep your head on a swivel, man. There's guys out there that are hungry.
I want a pay raise for next season. I want a nice contract. I want a nice contract increase. I want more sticks. I want more money.
You know what?
I want all that stuff.
Hey, go earn it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking a night off in the preseason. I'm not taking a night off during the season at all. I want more. I'm hungry for it. I don't care who we play. I'm not your friend.
Good.
Well, I'm your friend, Mr. Wheeler, because we do this podcast. But as far as the rest goes, I'm not your friend.
Yeah.
Actually, and here's a nice little lesson. Also, again, Jesus, try to reset the computer here. Best of wishes to my friend Matt Murray. Had a surgery the other day. Things went well. Happy to hear from him. But a line that he told me that we were talking about the other day over a call was, you don't need to be liked to be respected, but you want to be respected, right? And if somebody respects me, again, they don't have to like me, but the people that respect me are the people that I actually care about in my life, or care more about, to be able to gain that respect. People that like you will flip-flop depending on the color of the day and the flavor of the day. You want to be respected, not liked. And I think guys will respect me if I'm playing hard, if I don't take nights off and I perform. If I'm trying to be a buddy out there, yeah, you may like me on a certain given night, but you don't respect me. I want to be respected. I want to be respected by my team, by my colleagues, by the fans, by you. I want to be respected by everybody.
We'll see.
Jury's out. I was going to say, too, one nice thing over the last little bit, just between living in Derek Bujan's attic, which he told me to stop calling it his attic, but in his upstairs facility at the training rink, and then being here in Watertown, is I have all this free time to do whatever I want with, whether it's editing the podcast, whether it's editing the vlog. I've been going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week, working on even there's days when I don't feel like going to get a workout in. I'm like, oh my god, I'm tired. I only had 2 cups of coffee this morning. I haven't had my third. I don't really want to work out, but I just go, right? I'll just go to the gym, and let's just throw some weights around. It doesn't have to be exciting. It doesn't have to be anything groundbreaking. Just do it. Just get that dopamine hit, and then you get a pump, and then you get the pump, and then you end up chasing gains, and it just it's just contagious, because a healthy body is a healthy mind. And then I take that energy home, and I start thinking to myself, okay, well, how else can I improve? Well, what if I start thinking about other areas of my life to improve? For example, why don't I clean the bathroom for the guys? They'll respect me more if I take that on myself, or if I clean, if I go and get a Swiffer from the store, and I make sure our team housing is good to go, and the guys go and they got a nice clean floor, that the dishes are done, or stuff like that, or even just like my self-improvement stuff I'm working on lately of, why don't I try to dress myself a little bit better, so I don't look like a slob, get new pants, get new shirt, try to do up my hair, get my beard taken care of, and not have the mullet anymore, just all this kind of stuff. Things are really starting to manifest in Watertown in a positive way, and things are. I'm just really happy.
When does the new helmet get its debut, by the way?
Oh, the new helmet is in. I'm actually waiting for some new straps to come in to expose the back plate of the bucket. But I'll put some video on the video version of the show. But what do you think, Dave, of the new mask?
Listen, I love the way that you've stuck with the theme. It's kind of becoming your thing now. I think it looks great. What
do you think about the wolf head on top?
Well, listen, nice touch. Every goaltender always says, I wish I would have just stuck with white in just in case I get dealt somewhere and I don't have to break in new gear. So it's a bold statement. I like it.
Our owner, Shota Tyler, he's a former military vet. He comes up to me today and he says, man, those pads look good with the Watertown Wolf logo on there. I love the wolf and the helmet. And I said, oh, thank you so much. I think it looks really good too. Obviously, I'm biased. And then I said to him, wouldn't it suck if I got traded? And then he started laughing at me, and I started laughing as well. But mine was more of a nervous, don't trade me.
Wouldn't that be funny? Self-deprecating humor is funny, isn't it?
There's another team name. Well, actually, there's the Sea Wolves, but the Sea Wolves don't have the same colors as us. So there is nobody that I could play for that would.
Yeah,
it
sure.
would
Chicago.
Match.
Chicago Wolves, American Hockey League.
Chicago Wolves. Yeah, good luck getting a deal there.
There you go. Hey, listen, shoot for the moon, aim for the land of the stars. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, speaking of landing on the stars, let's talk about the presenting sponsor of the show. They've been here since day one. When you go to shoot the lights out on your date, you need to get a pair of Sheath Underwear. Sheath is game-changing. They're the presenting sponsor because of their dual pouch technology. It is a separated, segregated compartment for your dick and your balls so they can breathe. They're not sticking to the side of your leg. And as always, you should trust Sheath because of their incredible bamboo mesh to keep you cool, keep you comfortable, keep you aerated. And right now, when you listen to the show, you can stop, go to the link in the video description on the video version of the show or in the Apple Spotify notes. Go to sheathunderwear.com and use the code BIZKIT69, BIZKIT 69 will get you 20% off the greatest pair of underwear ever made on this earth. Dave Wheeler's wearing it, I'm wearing it, and you can too, only from the team at Sheath Underwear.
Do yourself a favor. Honestly, when it comes to Christmas time, you always think, oh, I wish I would have got out there and got it done sooner. Order a pair now for dad or the significant other or whoever. Get it now, and whoever that is taking care of, it's off your list. Believe me when I tell you, they are going to be so excited when they get that as a gift. It'll pay off.
Speaking of excited, your boy Cory Schneider, he retired the other day. You got a chance to talk to him. Is he excited for retirement?
Yeah, you know what? A dear friend. I'd heard the retirement, and I kind of knew it was coming over the past couple of years. There's another guy who's had surgery, but I had sent him a note, and we just kind of reminisced about the good old days because we were both really young guys when it was both of our turns to go to Winnipeg. He was Boston College grad, yeah, and BCU, Boston University, but BU, and I'm going to check that. Oh, I'm going to get
Boston
this wrong.
College. He was Boston College.
He was Boston College. So coming to Manitoba, and I was working with the team, and we used to, run around town, got to know each other really well. Smart guy, comes from really good pedigree, and that was evident all the way to his rise to the Vancouver Canucks, making it to the finals with Roberto Luongo, and then a career with the Devils that unfortunately had more X's than check marks. But yeah, just realized at 37, he's like, I'm good. I'm okay. I've got a family to support now, and believe me when I tell you, he's not going to be a guy who's going to be bored for very long. He's got a lot to give in society. What
do you think he's going to do right off the bat?
I don't think it'll have anything to do with hockey. I really think that he saw hockey as, hey, this is something I love to do, but I don't think he's going to continue. He won't be a broadcaster or anything like that. But no, I think he'll find something that fits.
Wife, kids? What does he got going on?
Yeah, wife, couple kids. Yeah, no, wonderful guy, and he's got a wonderful wife, and he's from the East Coast, and she's from the East Coast, and so yeah, they're in a good spot. Who knows? Maybe I'll convince them, and I'll meet them in Watertown to go see a game.
I was going to say you got to get Schneider to come on the podcast,
right? Oh yeah, you know what? I don't think he'd be opposed to that. I'm sure he's having a lot of attention right now with the retirement. So yeah, we could probably hit him up before season starts.
He doesn't want to go on the Liberal news. He wants to come on Slangin The Bizkit.
Yeah, right.
We also had Andrei Vasilevskiy. This was news, I guess, just as of today off the press, was he's getting surgery to fix his back, so he'll be back probably sometime, pun intended, he'll be back from back surgery right before Christmas time. Got a little bit of video on the video version of the podcast. It's amazing just how flexible, how dynamic he is. He is the best goalie in the world and has been for the last couple of years. And I mean, he's been carrying the Tampa Bay Lightning on his back for the last couple of years in the playoffs, so it's understandable why he's getting back surgery, but wishing him all the best. Also, there's a viral video.
If he comes back from that back surgery and he can show well for the Lightning, you watch. He's gonna get moved to a contender because I think Tampa Bay. I think their window's gone and they're on the downslide now. You watch. I think he's going to be trade bait coming around deadline time.
What? You are insane.
Yeah,
you're a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're going to trade Vasilevskiy at the deadline this year?
Yes. Throwing it up there. It's a bold prediction. Oh, listen, it's a bold prediction, but I got a feeling.
You want to make a bet, Eddie? You want to make a bet with that $500,000 I gave you?
Listen, I put money down on the lotto here in Canada, the $68 million gold ball jackpot the other night, and didn't win, so I'm good on gambling for a little while.
Well, we're done our Fed-Zeno talk, so there's no more gambling news to talk about, but also there was a viral video this week of a kid behind the net at Bell MTS Place in Winnipeg, the practice facility for the Jets, or Bell MTS Iceplex, excuse me, mocking and imitating Connor Hellebuyck.
I believe it's called the Center for Everyone now. The Hockey for Everyone Center.
It's the MTS Iceplex to me, Dave. Anyway,
whatever.
Kid behind the net, imitating every single move Connor Hellebuyck makes, kind of the same way that back in, I think 2007 or 2008, the Kiprusoff kid in Calgary. You remember him, Dave?
I do remember him. I think there's a difference between the two where that became more of a good luck thing. I think this kid that's standing behind Hellebuyck, Good way to pick up habits, man. What a great way. Phil Mickelson, the only reason he's left-handed is because he used to stand in front of his father, and that's how he teach him how to swing, and so he wanted to come up and mirror image him on this side so they're swinging the same way. So listen, if you're going to stand behind a goaltender, you've picked a really good one to pick up habits from.
I thought when you're pulling the golf reference, I thought you were going to talk about John Daly when he's like, well, you can't pull fat. Or when when they ask him, hey, John, what are Saturdays for? Hookers in my basement. What? Who says that?
Man, John Daly is one of a kind. Absolute one of a kind. He wrote an incredible book called My Life In and Out of the Rough once upon a time, and wow. Stories for years.
Such as?
One of his chapters is called All My Exes Wear Rolexes.
Please, go on. You can't leave it at that.
Well, he just talked about how he had all these relationships with women and realized pretty quickly that they were all there for his money, and after a while, he didn't care. He just realized that he was hanging out with hot women, and he could afford it.
Isn't that like the ultimate, like the biggest, like ultimate FU? Like, I don't care. I'll just throw the money out, whatever. Let's hang out with ladies.
Yeah, he talked about the amount of money he spent. He talks about his relationship with Tiger, and yeah, he's man, oh man. Like one story he tells in the book is about they were playing around and he went in after and started having some drinks, and they said, Tiger, come on over, have a drink. He's like, no, sorry, I got to go hit the range. So he hit the range just for about an hour and a half and comes back in. We're like, Tiger, can sit down and have a drink? He's like, sorry, I got to go work out for a little while. After an hour and a half of that, they're still sitting there at the table drinking. They're like, Tiger, come over and sit down. And Tiger's like, no, I got to get to bed, early tea time tomorrow. So him and John get paired up the next morning. So Daly says, I beat him by 2 strokes that day, and I was hungover like I'd never been. And Tiger Woods says, if I had talent like yours, I wouldn't have to go to the gym and go to the range and do all these things. You can just do it.
I just can't, like John Daly is just a specimen.
Yeah. It's just one of those freaks of nature, man. It doesn't make sense, but God love him because we need one. We need one in every sport.
I would love to get him on the podcast. I know we don't really talk golf, or nor do I know much about golf, but I'd love to talk with that man.
Well, I know. I saw the clips from last week. You do not know a lot about golf.
I'm trying. What's the quote from Goon, the movie that you starred in? Well, kid, when you're shit, there's nowhere to go but up from here.
Exactly. You can only see the stars when you're lying in the gutter.
You know, Muzz was telling me I was actually that clip of me, trying to get out of the beach when I was just like whacking and smacking it for about 7 strokes. He says, Trav, do you want some tips? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, widen up your stance a little bit, loosen up on the club, and just kind of like swing it to the side. Boom, ball came out of the beach and was right down the greens. So it's nice that Muzz was able to help me.
Okay, I got one for you. If your feet don't stay on the ground when you're teeing off on the tee box, I'm going to nail them to the tee box. Coming out of your boots every single time.
I looked at the video afterwards and I was looking at Muzz's swing compared to mine. I was like, God, I'm swinging the ball and then I'm like backpedaling about 3 feet after because I'm so off balance.
Hey, it's okay. No one's paying you to golf.
Speaking of paying you to golf, I did want to say one thing. I didn't have this in the notes for today, but somebody left a comment, I think 2 weeks ago. I know we've been talking a lot about ladies and my dating experiences. I had an epiphany the other day, and I wanted to tell us in the podcast for future reference. I know Dave's kind of shaking his head if you're on the video version of the show. I think I'm going to take a break from dating. I think I am.
Great idea.
Focus on myself. Focus on the season, more importantly. Focus on getting this podcast to the moon. Focus on getting the vlog as explosive as it possibly can. And less distractions. You know what I mean? I don't need no woman to help me during the season. It's a distraction, if anything. So
I told you before you left Vancouver, I said, just look forward to getting to Watertown, look forward to getting into a routine and focus on nothing else but that.
And that's what I want to do. I want to do nothing but that at this moment in time.
Good for you, man. Well, listen, you've got a nice little setup there. Everything's looking fantastic. What else we got on the docket today?
Well, I was also going to say, too, it's hard to bring, a missus back when, you're living with 8 other dudes, but this is a choice based on I want to, work on myself. I'm still doing my therapy twice a week. I have my life coach. I have all this other stuff that I'm working on, and I just want to, come out of the season, first off, a champion to begin with, but also just, a better man, a better athlete, a better professional, a better podcaster, a better just everything is what I want to, dedicate myself the next, 7 months, 6.5 months to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for you, man. Time's ticking. It goes by quick. This will be nothing but a distant memory.
I know. You know what's weird is we're sitting here, the end of September? I think actually it was a year ago to this exact moment in time.
October 1 as for the day we release.
Yes. So the podcast will be up on the 1st, but we're recording the 28th. I believe it was exactly a year ago today at this exact moment. We were in the Energy 106 studios recording another episode. But it's just crazy because I remember just like that, we were recording that episode, and then, tomorrow it's going to be April, the season's going to be done, and then in 3 days from now, next season's going to be, it just goes by so fast.
If you ever have kids, believe me when I tell you, those things are an incredible measuring stick because you can literally see how quickly time goes by. When they start growing up, you think to yourself, feels like mere weeks ago I was teaching you how to walk or changing your diaper or whatever it may be, and it's just it goes by in a flash, and you never really realize that until you get into those years where you go, oh yeah, I'm not 20 anymore.
We talked about my there's like something going off in the back of my head the last like little bit, just like thinking about kids and like family, and it's like, and again back to this like whole idea of like I'm just gonna like stop dating and focus on myself and kind of fix some things for the next little bit. Like the thought of like if I want to have a kid one day and I want to be a good father and a good family man, all this kind of stuff, I need to fix things in my life that are broken about myself so that I'm not throwing it onto them. And then I'm also thinking about like what could I do to be an awesome dad one day? Because that day will come. All of this, like the podcast will come to an end, the vlog, all of it. Well, hopefully the podcast doesn't, but everything else will come to an end eventually. And then, when that day does come to become a dad and become a family man, I want to be the best possible version of that I can be.
And listen, that's great, but I'll tell you two pieces of advice, one from either end. You're never ready. Doesn't matter how ready you think you are. Doesn't matter how ready your partner thinks you are. You're never ready. You're just not. You're never prepared for what that life experience is like. And the other thing too is when it comes to being a good father, just being there. That's it. If you can just be there around your kid as often as you can, that's the trick.
Are you ready for a third?
Go for it. Oh, me? No, that's chemically impossible at this point.
Oh, you're fixed?
Oh, yeah. Listen, dude, if my wife and I would have met earlier in life, number one, it probably wouldn't have worked out. We both had to go through our experiences in life. But number two, if we would have started having kids like 10 years earlier, I would have loved to have had 5 or 6. But selfishly, I still want to have a decent retirement and spend time with my amazing wife and go on adventures. So I'm good. I'm okay. By the time I'm 54, both my kids will be in their 20s. So fine by me.
Wow. Does that make you feel old?
Yeah, and that's okay. You know what? Prince said once upon a time, I stopped counting birthdays because, then you have this expectation to live up to. He goes, I just stopped keeping track, that I didn't put any pressure on myself of how I'm supposed to be.
Well, he could be prepared for his date night with the team at Manscaped.com, the second sponsor for the show. What do you think?
Oh, listen, man, if you want to stay young, take care of yourself. Don't let yourself slip away. That's one of the best ways to do it. And Manscaped keeps you looking good for your lady.
With their brand new Manscaped beard trimmer, the Beard Hedger, to be specific. So the Manscaped Beard Hedger, it has 20 different lengths. It has a 60-minute battery life. It's waterproof. It is style and profile. It's sleek. It's stylish, and man, it is an absolute beast. When I taper up my beard, I get my mustache just the way that I want it. I can take off the attachment, kind of dial it in so it's not coming into my lip and I'm not chewing on it for dinner. And you too can get the best beard trim that money can buy right now with the Manscaped Beard Hedger. You go to manscaped.com at the link in the video description on the YouTube podcast or in the podcast notes on Apple or Spotify, and you get 20% off with the code BIZKIT, BIZKIT, free shipping as well, only from the team at Manscaped.
Thank you very much, and sign up to be a Patreon member as well. If some of these things that we talk about aren't exactly up your alley and you want to support the show, sign up to Patreon. There's different tiers there. You get a mug, you get a jersey or a sweatshirt, a hoodie. Go sign up. It's worth it. And you get bonus episodes too.
Yeah, we should do a jersey. I should order some of my own jerseys from Watertown and throw them on the Patreon page and just offer them up to some of the members as well. That should be something we should work on soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, great idea. I love it. We've got a bunch of great ideas, but like I said, your main focus right now is training camp and the beginning of the season.
Yeah, getting off to a hot start. But if you want to join the Patreon page, there's a link in the video description as well. I did want to talk about a couple things before we cap off this week's episode, maybe a little bit shorter. But to all the blue pill people out there and the liberals listening, I have some good news for you. I have some slightly changed views on Andrew Tate. Are you ready for this, Dave? I thought a lot of people thought this day would probably never come. There was a documentary by Vice News with Matt Shea that I stumbled upon on YouTube the other day. Now, the comments were taken off of it, so I couldn't get a gauge of how everybody else felt about it. But there is audio of Andrew Tate saying some really creepy, disgusting, cringy things to ladies about forcing himself on them. And previous to this, I'd never really looked into specifically that. I looked into other things, but I hadn't really found anything convincing. When I saw this in the documentary, I thought to myself, this is really bad. There's no way to defend this. And as much as there's some things that I really like about what Tate says, I'd say probably in the 80 to 20 or 80% 20% breakdown. That's kind of just a little bit offside as far as I'm concerned. I still do think he does speak about a lot of really good things for men. I think that a lot of men could really listen to him and really improve their lives, myself included. But that 20%, and specifically, those audio recordings of him, saying some forcing things on some ladies, I really didn't like that. And
I am unfamiliar with the clips you're talking about. It doesn't sound very good, which is terrible. I will say this.
Okay, I'll basically word it like this. So essentially, and without triggering too many people, basically he confesses over audio, and it's his own voice, that he was forcing himself on a woman, and the more that she resisted, the more that he liked it. And he started going into detail as to why he liked it. And I just thought to myself, we talk about last year, right, with one of the players for one of the FPHL teams being suspended for, assaulting his wife. How could we sit here and stand and say that is not right? And then when, the audio clips come out of Andrew Tate saying this, to say, well, we'll give him a free pass. It's like, nah, like that's not cool.
Was he talking about physically forcing himself upon somebody?
Sexually, he was forcing himself on this lady, and the more that she resisted, the more that he liked it, and the harder he tried. And she, I guess, did an interview saying that she just gave up and wasn't willing to fight anymore. And I was just so like off put by this. And keep in mind, like, I'm a Tate lover. Like, I love a lot of the stuff that Andrew Tate says. And unless I'm missing something, I'm kind of out. I'm not really a fan of that.
Okay, well, listen, the good news is there's lots of other great motivational speakers out there and a lot of people that have a lot of great messages. So don't give up. There's someone better out there.
I actually did find one the other day, and funny enough, he is actually friends with Tate. So I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going down the wrong rabbit hole, but you ever seen Justin Waller online?
No.
Calls himself a steel cowboy. He's like he's an entrepreneur. He builds buildings, a lot of construction stuff, kind of in the red pill manosphere of, upgrade yourself, upgrade your life. Never look back when women leave you, kind of stuff. And I don't know. I've really been enjoying a lot of his stuff, a lot of like blue collar stuff. He's also from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go figure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's actually, I just went to his Instagram. There's actually a picture of him and Andrew Tate together.
Yep, go figure. That's like the first picture.
Yeah.
But I haven't found anything bad about Justin Waller yet. So if anybody in the YouTube version or the audio version knows anything bad about him, let me know and I'll change my opinion. But far I like him.
I will say this. I think it's very big of you because I know a lot of people were triggered about that. And I'm same as you. If I get new information presented to me, I'm always open to having my opinion changed. But it's going to take evidence and conversations and whatnot. So yeah, I think that's great that you've done a little digging, found something you didn't like, and you decided to change your opinion. Nothing wrong with that. There's opinions can be changed. Beliefs are a little harder.
Well, and for the record, I was wrong about Andrew Tate. In the sense of like, I still do agree with like that 80% of stuff that I really think a lot of people should listen to. But as like an overall, like overwhelming supporter, it's like, this really kind of like, you can't do that kind of stuff. And even though like the audio clips are supposedly from 10 years ago, yes, people change, but like that's like a big character flaw. It's like, for example, if you cheat on your wife and you have 3 mistresses and you're bragging to your coworkers or, about that, and then you get busted and you want to blame it on somebody else, like that kind of stuff, I have no sympathy for you. Same thing with this.
I get you, man. I get you. What else you got?
I had that. We also have exclusive video, world exclusive video right now. So Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are now dating. I have exclusive video. If you're on the Apple Audio or the Apple Spotify version, you're just going to have to try to picture it in your head. I have exclusive video of a date from them of this past weekend out and about. Dave, what do you think of the footage?
Well, it's not confirmed. It's been heavily rumored, and I love I don't know if you've seen some of the trends that's going on. One trend that was huge is Taylor Swift fans telling their boyfriends and husbands, hey, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, like people are saying that she's going to make his career. Like he's just going to skyrocket from here. Like people are going to know who he is. And watching the boyfriends' reactions, like, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion and one of the best tight ends in the game, right? Yeah, but Taylor Swift's like really going to elevate him to being popular. And just watching these dudes melt down is hilarious, just getting fully trolled. And the other good one is Heinz, the Heinz brand, Heinz ketchup, Heinz, all that. They're coming out with a new bottle. The flavor already exists, but because Taylor was eating chicken nuggies with Heinz ketchup and what is seemingly ranch sauce, they're doing a special 100-bottle run of ketchup and seemingly ranch sauce in honor of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And because her favorite number is 13 and his jersey number is 87, that adds up to 100, so they're doing a 100-bottle run.
Ooh, That's spicy.
Oh,
By the way,
this whole thing is unbelievable. His jersey sales, truthfully, did go up 400% because girls want to I wear Travis Kelce's jersey because they love Taylor Swift.
I guess so. 4-point-something million viewers for the or was it 16 million viewers for the Chiefs game this past weekend?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Guy gained 350,000 Instagram followers in the past 3 days.
It's the Taylor Swift effect, man. Swifties they love him. Just don't break her heart, or else she'll come out with a really good album.
Like the Andrew Tate to the liberal sphere. By the way, the video version of their date was actually a train running off a cliff on the new Tom Hanks Mission Impossible, where they physically ran a locomotive off a cliff. If you're on the Apple Spotify version, you won't get it. It's not as funny. But if you're on the video version, you're probably like, this is hilarious.
I was speaking to the audio audience only, for the record.
Yes, they're not in the know, but that's okay. I did also want to say shout out to my GM, Charlie Pence Jr. This is his house apartment setup that I'm in, which is why I got the nice lighting and everything here. So shout out to him for allowing me into his home and just having me here for the Watertown Wolves. I just want to say I'm really excited and really happy to be here. I'm thankful. You know, I gotta stop saying all this like BS stuff and actually like talk from the heart. Like it's like when you have somebody who believes in you and brings you in and is just honest with you so far, as you know, I joked with him earlier this afternoon about. And you just feel welcome. There's like a very special feeling behind it. And I don't have the words really to describe it, but I'm just thankful to be here. And as Tyler, our owner, said, these were his words, not mine today. Purple was never your color. Navy blue was always your color. Not my words. I didn't say it. Our owner did.
October 10th, the Watertown Wolves first game versus the Elmira River Sharks. Looking forward to that one. Yeah, looking forward to that one in preseason action. And then the season officially kicks off when?
Home opening weekend, October 13th at home against the defending champion Danbury Hat-Tricks, on the road in Danbury, October 14th. And then the following weekend with the River Sharks at home again, then on the road for the Saturday game. And then the following weekend, we're in Bingo, October 27th on the road. And then October 28th, we're at home versus Binghamton. And we have a Halloween costume contest. And apparently we're giving away free candy to kids. Like not like in like a pedo way, but like actually like, here's free candy. Thanks for coming. Which now that I say out loud is going to sound pedo-y.
Only if you show up in a costume, though.
Yes, I think that is also a restriction, that you have to have a costume.
Go get some sleep. You got training camp, and then you got fitness tests coming up. Go impress that muscle head of a coach of yours. Absolutely. And if you are listening to the podcast still, thank you for listening. If you're on the YouTube version, hit the subscribe button because we do new episodes like this every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 in Winnipeg, 9 in Calgary, outside the mountains, outside the Rockies of Banff, and 8 a.m. on the West Coast, outside Vancouver. I want to say thank you so much for listening. Apple and Spotify, same thing, leave a review. On behalf of Mr. Dave Wheeler, the number one morning show in the city of Winnipeg, the radio host for 20-plus years, and myself, number 33 for your Watertown Wolves, Travis Ridgen. Thank you for listening to the show, and we both look forward to seeing you next week. We'll see you then.